Discuss lipids, and our domain is to discuss complex lipid. First of all, classification of lipids. Lipids is classified into simple lipids, complex lipids, and derived lipids. Our domain is to discuss this topic. Simple lipids is further classified into fats, simple fats, and into waxes. Complex lipid is classified further into phospholipids, glycolipids, sulfolipids, aminolipids, and lipoproteins. Derived lipids is classified into fatty acid, glycerols, steroids, lipid-soluble vitamins, and hydrocarbons. Now, simple lipid. Ester of fatty acid with various alcohol. Simple lipid is fatty acid plus alcohol, and its esteric form is called simple lipid. Now, fats composed of triglyceride and triacylglycerol, ester of fatty acid with glycerol. Oils are fats in the liquid state, and lipids are not in the liquid state. Waxes esters of fatty acid with high molecular weight monohydric alcohol. Now, I have met MCQs from this lipid topic to clear your mind that what type of MCQ can come in exam. So first MCQ, you can note it that triacylglycerol is composed of number one, option one is simple lipid, option two is complex lipid, option three is derived lipid, and option four is miscellaneous lipid. So the answer is here in this slide. Triacylglycerol is composed of simple lipid. This type of MCQ can come in your exam. So don't need to worry, don't need to hurry. Just pick up the important point from the slide, from the book, and note it. MCQ number one, triacylglycerol is composed of simple lipid. Next, this is example of wax, which is a simple lipid. Wax is composed of fulvic acid and tricontanol. Now, complex lipid. Ester of fatty acid containing group in addition to alcohol and fatty acid. In simple lipid, there was one alcohol and one fatty acid. But in complex lipid, there is an additional group. That's why it is called complex lipid. We will see next in the coming slide that what is that additional group. Complex lipid is further classified into these five: phospho, glyco, amino, sulfo, and lipoproteins. Phospholipids. Phospholipid containing, in addition to fatty acid and alcohol, a phosphoric acid residue. This one is a strange is compared to a simple lipid. Phosphoric acid is not present in simple lipid. Now, glycerophospholipid and further phospholipid is divided into glycerophospholipid and sphingophospholipid. Glycerophospholipid, the alcoholic group is glycerol. Is from the name you can getting that glycerophospholipids, the alcohol group is glycerol, and from the sphingophospholipid, the alcohol group is sphingosine. This is glycerol. 3 carbon containing compound. This is glycerol. The alcoholic group in glycerophospholipid is glycerol, and the sphingophospholipid, the alcoholic group is sphingosine, which is 18 carbon molecule. B. Number 2 group is glycolipid. which is also called glycosphingolipid. Lipid containing fatty acid and alcohol is unique for every lipid, but the additional of other groups makes the classification further. Lipids containing fatty acid, sphingosine, and in this group here is a an addition of carbohydrate. So based on this carbohydrate, this glycolipid is further divided into cerebroside and gangliosides. And the other three groups are aminolipids, also called proteolipids, sulfolipids, which have a sulfate groups, lipoprotein, which have a protein group. Just simple and brief overlook on fatty acid. Fatty acid are aliphatic carboxylic acid, which one is saturated and unsaturated depending upon the double bond is present or absent. Saturated fatty acid are those which have no double bond. This is an example of various saturated fatty acids: formic acid, lauric acid, stearic acid. Unsaturated fatty acid is further classified into two, mono and poly, depending upon that how many double bond is present. And other MCQ can come from this slide and from this type of page that what is omega-7 fatty acid? What is omega-7 fatty acid? So the answer will be palmitoleic acid. Please mention it. The other MCQ which can come that oleic acid is option 1 omega-7 fatty acid, omega-9 fatty acid, and omega-10 fatty acid, like this. Other MCQs comes like this. So you have to be remember this omega number for every fatty acid. For example, linoleic acid is omega-6 fatty acid, and gamma linoleic acid is omega-6. The other MCQs which can come from fatty acid, that what is an essential fatty acid? So there are two essential fatty acid. We will know in the coming slide that depending upon that topic, that what is an essential fatty acid, and they give you four options. So you have to remember essential fatty acid at least. And omega-3 fatty acid is linoleic. These all are double bonded fatty acid. Essential fatty acid. These two fatty acid are essential fatty acid. Please remember it. Linoleic acid, linoleic acid. Now function of fatty acid, you already know it. Energy source, they are structure elements of tissues, they are structure elements of gonads and shows it's important in reproductive system. Prostaglandins and leukotrienes are synthesized from arachidonic acids. Structure elements of mitochondrial membrane, its deficiency reduce oxidative phosphorylation. Fats with high content of polyunsaturated fatty acids tend to lower serum cholesterol. Essential fatty acid increase the fibrin. These are various function and activities of fatty acid in our body. Some plays in vision, for example, docosahexaonic acid, which is omega-3 fatty acid. Now, alcohol, which is a component of lipid. Alcohol found in lipids molecule include glycerol, sphingol, cholesterol, and high molecular weight monohydrate alcohol, glycerol. As we already saw the picture of glycerol, it is a three-carbon compound. Endogenously, it is produced from the lipolysis of fats. Exogenously, about 22% is absorbed from the diet into portal blood. Industrially, it is the byproduct in soap manufacturing. Medical use of glycerol, it forms nitroglycerin, which is used in ischemic heart disease as a coronary vasodilator. Someone who got MI, we give nitroglycerin, which contain glycerol. which help in vasodilation of the coronary artery, and it leads to resolution of ischemia. Glycerol therapy and cerebrovascular disease is used to reduce cerebral edema. So the other clinical importance is that can also used in cerebral edema. now, now, what are tri triglycerides and triacylglycerols? This is alcohol. This is an acid, fatty acid. Ester bond occur between these two and it form what? A monomer for lipid. Now, triacylglycerol have three carbon, 1, 2, 3, and with each carbon C1 it is attached on fatty acid group, and also to the carbon number 3 of fatty acid group. Triacylglycerol may be simple or complex. Hydrolysis of fats yields free fatty acid, and glycerol are mono and diglycerides. The unpleasant taste and smell associated with the rancidity result from the oxidative cleavage of double bond and unsaturated fatty acids. These are simple theory. Triacylglycerol provides stored energy and insulation. Invertebrate special cells called adipocytes or fat cell store large amount of triacylglycerol as fat droplet that nearly fill the cells. We have to go for the next slide. These are theory you can read by yourself. There is no difficult words in it. Moderately obese people with 15 to 20 kg of triacylglycerol deposited in their adipocytes could meet their energy needs for months by drawing on their fat stores. Now, the main domain of our today lecture is to discuss complex lipid. Complex lipid, the first one is phospholipid. Now, we already know that phospholipid is further divided into glycerophospholipid and sphingophospholipid. The glycerophospholipid, the backbone in glycerophospholipid is glycerol. The backbone in glycerophospholipid is glycerol. And to carbon number 1, there attach a fatty acid. And to carbon number 2, sorry, there attach another fatty acid. And to carbon number 3, there attach phosphatidic acid. Plus, this is functional group. This functional group depends upon that which type of functional group attached to this glycerol. Depending upon this functional group, glycerophospholipid is further divided into other glycerophospholipids. We will see next. This is a structure of phospholipid which have a phosphate group, and this is a polar head, this is non-polar tail. Polar head contain phosphate group. Now, classification of phospholipid is to glycerophospholipid and sphingophospholipid. Glycerophospholipid is further divided into cephalin, lecithin, phosphatidyl serine, plasmalogen, and cardiolipin. Please remember these 5 names that it belongs to glycerophospholipid. Cephalin, lecithin. Now, one other MCQ can come from this slide that we will see in the next slide the function of these groups, the function of these substances like cephalin, lecithin, but I can mention that MCQ here, that which of the following help in coagulation of blood? Which of the following help in coagulation of blood? Number 1, cephalin. number 2 lecithin, number 3 phosphatidylserine, number 4 plasmalogen. So the answer is syphilin. The answer is syphilin. Please mention these MCQs in your own notebook. Sphingophospholipid have sphingosine as a backbone. Is glycerophospholipid have glycerol as a backbone, and sphingophospholipid have sphingosine as a backbone. This is glycerophospholipid we have already discussed. 2 fatty acid, phosphatidic acid, and functional group. The functional group is maybe choline. The functional, the X. This X may be choline. This X may be ethanolamine. This X may be serine. Or this X may be myoanisotol. Depending upon these X group, this glycerophospholipid is divided that either it is lecithin, either it is syphilin. Now we will know that if X group is choline, what will be the name of that group? So also remember this X groups, please. And lecithin, this S group, X group is you see this group, the choline. The lecithin, the functional group is choline. So in other MCQ, you can solve from this slide that the X group in lecithin is choline, ethanolamine, serine, and myoacetol. This X group in choline, this X group in lecithin is choline. So remember it. Lecithin are the most abundant phospholipids now of the cell membrane and represent a large portion of the body stores of choline. Choline is important in nerve transmission as acetylcholine and is a store of labile methyl group. Dipalmethyl lecithin is a very effective surface active agent and a major constituent of the surfactant preventing adherence. The very important MCQs, other important MCQs which can come in your exam is that respiratory distress syndrome. You know respiratory distress syndrome, which is caused by deficiency of which substance? Respiratory distress syndrome, which is caused by deficiency of surfactant. Zabardast, Qurratulain, surfactant. But the substance which is deficient in that surfactant is dipalmethyl lecithin. Very good, Zabardast. So this is a very important MCQ. Please note it that respiratory distress syndrome can cause MCQ इस तरह आ सकता है कि आपको मतलब वो कह देंगे कि respiratory distress syndrome is due to deficiency of dipalmethyl lecithin, B syphilin, C phosphatidyl inositol, and D none. So the answer will be dipalmethyl lecithin. Zabardast. So the MCQ we are going to discuss with each slide that what type of MCQ can come in your exam. So be prepared yourself and study MCQs point of view से study करें. मतलब ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप मतलब पूरी सेंटेंस याद रखें. जो important points हैं एग्जाम के point of view से, तो उसको ज़रूर मतलब आप remember करें. सही है. अच्छा. So the major dipalmethyl lecithin is a very effective surfactant agent and is a major constituent of the surfactant preventing adherence. And if I ask that if dipalmethyl lecithin is deficient in your surfactant, what will occur to the alveoli? What will occur to the alveoli? It will collapse at the end of expiration. जब हम बाहर सांस निकालते हैं ना, expiration करते हैं तो alveoli collapse हो जाते हैं. जब dipalmethyl lecithin is deficient in or surfactant. So it prevents collapse of the alveoli at the end of expiration. Why respiratory distress syndrome occur? Please, why respiratory distress syndrome occur? Yes, from collapse, but why it occur? Because yes, congenital. Someone born prematurely of 32 weeks and of 33 weeks, the dipalmethyl preparation in our lungs start from 34 weeks of pregnancy. Beyond 34 weeks, dipalmethyl can prepare in our lungs. Before 34 weeks of gestation, if a baby born prematurely, the dipalmethyl contain no uh, the surfactant contain no lecithin. So the patient, the baby, goes into respiratory distress syndrome. So basically, it is a disease of, yes, it is treatable. We can give, if if a premature baby born, we can give supportive measure in the form of oxygen, in the form of steroids. We can give steroids. Steroids can help in formation of lecithin, and we can give supportive measure. It is treatable. Okay. Next. Now, what is the X? What is this? What is this X group in cephalin? So remember this. Also remember this point. This is ethanolamine, and cephalin. The X group is ethanolamine. The other this molecule is universal for both cephalin and lecithin. But this, depending upon this X group, it is cephalin. So the X group in cephalin is ethanolamine, not choline. Phosphatidyl, ethanolamine, cephalin are identical in structure with lecithin, with the exception that the base ethanolamine replaces choline. Please remember this line. They occur with lecithin, particularly rich in brain and nervous tissue. Now, one other MCQ can come from this slide, depending upon the function of cephalin, that I already told that which of the following help in coagulation of blood. So, cephalin is the answer. Cephalin can help in coagulation of blood. Now, phosphatidylserine, this is another group. Depending upon this group, the molecule totally name change into phosphatidylserine. Now, phosphatidylserine is a serine-like phospholipid containing the amino acid serine in place of ethanolamine. The phospholipid is found in brains, nervous tissue, and bloods. Phosphatidylinositol. You know this compound? It helps in a very important MCQ which come regularly from this substance is that which of the following work is a second messenger? So phosphatidylinositol work is a second messenger. It further divided into N-acetyl triphosphate and diacylglycerol, and it works beyond the cell membrane in the cytoplasm to help in messaging. And at work is a second messenger. So phosphatidylinositol is a complex lipid, uh, uh, and an example of phospholipid, which help in second messengering which help in second messengering. An isotyl is a cyclohexane alcohol. It replaces the base choline of lecithin and forms phosphatidyl in isotyl. It occurs in brain and nervous tissue and also in parts in plants phospholipids. Now, the other groups which come in phospholipid is plasmalogens. Plasmalogen have ethanolamine in the is the X group, and if you see this group is also changed in plasmalogen, and other substance this was simple fatty acid, but in this group here is 1, 2, 3 carbon fatty acid. Now, what is plasmalogen? These molecules on hydrolysis yield one molecule of long-chain aliphatic aldehyde, a fatty acid, a glycerol phosphate, and a nitrogenous base, which is usually ethanolamine. So, nitrogenous base group here is also ethanolamine. And by hydrolysis, it can yield glycerol phosphate and fatty acid and phosphatidic acid and ethanolamine. These molecules, it makes up 10% of the total phospholipids of brain, nervous tissue, muscle, and mitochondria. Cardiolipins. Cardiolipin have phosphatidylglycerol is in X. The other group is the other structure is same as like udil, but this is in X, which is different for each substance. And in case of cardiolipin, it is phosphatidylglycerol. Cardiolipin, two molecule of fatty acid is divided through their phosphate group to an additional molecule of glycerol is called cardiolipin diphosphatidylglycerol. Cardiolipin is found in bacteria and eukaryotes. In eukaryote, cardiolipin is virtually exclusive to the inner mitochondrial membrane, where it appears to be required for the maintenance of certain respiratory complexes and respiratory transport changes. Note cardiolipin is antigenic and is recognized by antibody raised against Treponema pallidum, the bacterium that causes syphilis. So, cardiolipin is antigenic. You have not read the syphilis, which is caused by Treponema pallidum. You will read in pathology. And depending upon this, we can do cardiolipin profile of that person, which can found in case of infection of syphilis. Now, other substance which is platelet activating factor. This is an unusual either glycerophospholipids. It bend to surface receptor triggering potent thrombotic and acute inflammatory events. Phospholipid, we are discussing phospholipids, and this phosphoplatelet activating factor is help in thrombosis, help in thrombotic activity, and in acute inflammatory events. So, overproduction of platelet activating factor can lead to thrombotic phenomena. It causes platelet to aggregate and regranulates, and neutrophil and alveolar macrophage to generate superoxides. Now, if I ask that what are different phospholipids? If I ask that what are different phospholipids, can you name please? Just name. so much complex. What are different phospholipids? आपको शायद आंसर अभी तो मतलब आपके मॉड्यूल वाइज एमसीक्यूज मतलब पेपर में एमसीक्यूज आ जाएंगे, लेकिन अगर आप को शायद क्वेश्चन आ जाए कि व्हाट क्लासिफाई फास्फोलिपिड्स, और मतलब आपको लिख ले कि मतलब वो राइट 10 नेम्स ऑफ 10 सब ग्रुप्स ऑफ फास्फोलिपिड्स, जस्ट सिपोलिन आपको पता है? लिसिथिन, सिफलिन, नो, dipalmethyl-lecithin, cardiolipin. So you are right, but you plasmalogen, yes. One is platelet activating factor, the other is lecithin, cephalin, and phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylthreonine, phosphatidyl inositol, which are helping in second messengering. So unique. These all have unique properties in our body. Okay. Phospholipases, which help in degradation of phospholipids. These are different enzymes which work on different places. Like phospholipase A1 help to hydrolyze the R1 fatty acid from the phospholipid, and phospholipase A2 helps in hydrolyzing the R2 fatty acid from the phospholipid. Like this one, this is fatty acid to the carbon number 1, phospholipases A1, A1, A2, C2, phospholipase C, C3, C mean 3. Please remember it. And phospholipase D further hydrolyze this one, and it release the X group. Now sphingolipid, we have divided phospholipid into glycero and sphingolipid. Now what is sphingolipids? One important MCQ which can come from this slide, very important, and it repeated every time, that what is ceramide? They will ask just from you that what is ceramide. So they will give option in the form of lead. Ceramide is composed of same sphingosine, fatty acid, phosphoric acid, and choline. Number 2 option will be sphingosine and phosphoric acid. Number 3 option will be sphingosine and choline. So the answer is, please remember that what is the difference between only sphingosine and ceramide. The answer is that ceramide is composed of sphingosine plus fatty acid. This will be the answer. So here in sphingophospholipid, in place of glycerol here is sphingosine, which is 18 carbon compound, and the functional group here is choline. Sphingomyelinase is the enzyme which hydrolyzes sphingomyelin. ये भी एक important point है कि sphingomyelinase help in degrading of sphingophospholipid. When sphingomyelinase enzyme deficient हो in a patient, the disease which occur in that patient is Niemann-Pick disease. Please remember, the deficiency of sphingomyelinase enzyme leads to developing of Niemann-Pick disease. difference सेकंड मैसेंजर आपको मतलब वो आप जब फिजियोलॉजी पढ़ेंगे ना शीमा गुल, तो इसमें आप प्राइमरी मैसेंजर, सेकेंडरी मैसेंजर, तो इसमें फास्फेटिडाइल एनाइसोटोल मेन रोल प्ले करता है. तो just remember here the name of phosphatidyl inositol, and the remaining topic you will read in physiology. Niemann-Pick disease. Sphingomyelinase is the enzyme which hydrolyzes sphingomyelin to form ceramide and phosphorylcholine. So the sphingomyelinase deficiency leads to Niemann-Pick disease, in which large amount of sphingomyelin accumulates in the brain, liver, and spleen. What is sphingolipids? This sphingosine and this sphingomyelin is basically a myelin sheet which covers your nerves, which cover uh, 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 your CNS. So, if sphingomyelin is deficient, a disease which occur, and when this sphingomyelin and sphingolipids is not properly formed and not properly working, a disease which occur is called multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is another disease which form from deficiency of this sphingomyelin. But when sphingomyelin is increased in our nerves and our bodies and our brain and our liver and our spleen due to deficiency of sphingomyelinase, the disease is called Niemann-Pick disease. It is basically a metabolic disorder of the newborn, which a baby can come with enlargement of the abdomen due to hepatomegaly and splenomegaly and progressive mental deterioration. Prognosis is usually fatal. Over 80% of child die within 2 years of age. So it is a metabolic disorder. Just remember this enzyme. That Niemann-Pick disease is caused by deficiency of sphingomyelinase. This is your homework, and depending upon this assignment, you can get your internal assessment number, which is 20, not a small number. So this is your assignment, and you have to write function of phospholipid, not from this slide, not from a very simple book. You have to search various function of phospholipid, which is unique also for me and also for you. And the second portion is clinical importance of phospholipids. So this is your homework, and I will ask in the next lecture, and I will show you then that where to deposit your assignment. Yes, Niemann-Pick disease is accumulation of sphingomyelin. Yes. Deadline of this assignment is prepare it after your exam, which is probably on 17 or 18 of this month. But to make it from a unique book like Harper, like Chatterjee, not from just Satyanarayan or other. Now, the other group A here come as glycolipids. Lipid containing fatty acid, and the other group is sphingosine, and the X group here is carbohydrate. Depending upon this carbohydrate, we are further dividing glycolipids into cerebrosides and gangliosides. Cerebroside, glycospengosides. Now, if you can see, Ceramide is sphingosine plus fatty acid. Here, the other group which is added here is galactose. Depending upon this sugar, the whole group is changed into cerebrosides, and it have a unique property in our body, and it have also different function in our body. And depending upon the enzyme which help in degrading cerebroside, if that enzyme is deficient, and various disease can occur. We will see next that what are that disease. Type of cerebroside are kerosene, cerebron, nervine, oxynervine. Just remember these names. Leave these other statements. Gaucher disease. Now, naming pick disease you can know now. Gaucher disease is, what is Gaucher disease? It occurs in infant. It is basically a metabolic disorder in which acute onset with rapid course of death in several years. The infant lose weight, fails to grow, and progressive mental retardation. Initially, there is a spasticity, later on followed by placidity. Adults, progressive splenomegaly, which may reach to umbilicus or below, characterized bone pain due to marrow cell replaced by histiocyte, macrophage, and connective tissue loaded with the lipids. These all will you read in your medicine, but what now? Gangliosides. We will discuss Gaucher disease in the next lecture, which is sharply on 11 a.m. That what are different enzymes which are deficient in Gaucher disease. Gangliosides, this is a simple picture of ganglioside, which is composed of ceramide, glucose, galactose, N-acetyl galactosamine, and galactose 2 galactose molecule and one glucose molecule. It contains types of ganglioside is GM1, GM2, GM3, depending upon their configuration. These are important. Beyond this, there are various types of gangliosides. The simplest and common ganglioside found in tissue is GM3. GM1 is the more complex ganglioside derived from GM3, is of considerable biological interest, is it now known to be the receptor in human intestine for cholera toxin. The nitrogenous, if I go for to ask one question, that the nitrogenous base in lecithin is Usama Khan says that why sphingomyelin are more stable than glycerophospholipid. Sphingomyelin containing what? Sphingomyelin containing double bond. It is composed of 18 carbon as compared to glycerophospholipid, which have some simple glycerol. Yes, nitrogenous base in lecithin as okay. Biomedical importance of ganglioside. Ganglioside are mainly component of membrane. The sugar unit are salic acid for the molecule are water soluble and negatively charged hydrophilic, whereas the ceramide portion is lipid soluble hydrophobic. This is some statement about the ganglioside configuration. You can search and you can read in your book. The hydrophobic part is embedded in the membranous lipid, while the hydrophilic part produced toward the mediums. Now, the other disease which are important in lipid regarding lipid is Tay-Sachs disease. And Tay-Sachs disease, the enzyme which is deficient is hexoaminidase A. Just remember this enzyme. The enzyme which deficient in hexoaminidase, which is deficient is hexoaminidase, and it leads to Tay-Sachs disease. And this enzyme is responsible for the degradation of GM2 gangliosides. Please remember this one also. Basically, this disease is a pediatric disease, and you need just to remember the enzyme here, and you need just to remember the type of ganglioside which is not degraded. So this GM2 ganglioside will accumulate in the brains and nervous tissues, which leads to various features in newborns. Progressive development idiocy, Polish act, and blindness in infants due to widespread injury to the ganglion in cerebral cortex and retina. This is a retina of a baby suffering from Tay-Sachs disease. This is retina. This is optic disc. This is various vessel. So in Tay-Sachs disease, this type of presentation is called cherry red spot. What? Cherry red spot. Cherry red spot. So other MCQ which can come that a baby comes with presentation of blindness, presentation of mental retardation, presentation of failure to thrive. On examination, on fundoscopy, there is cherry red spots on his retina. What is the probable disease? So the answer will be Tay-Sachs disease. And this occurs due to accumulation of ganglioside M2 around the optic nerve. A cherry red spot in the retina caused by destruction of retinal ganglion cell called cells seen by ophthalmoscopically. This is the pathognomic sign of the disease. So please remember just cherry red spot. There may be seizures in association with macrocephaly. The patient may have suffering from seizure. And what is macrocephaly? Large head. It means large head. A patient having a large head. Prognosis is bad, usually death follows. So in a question regarding this topic, the other lecture which will be started soon at 11 a.m. we will discuss the other portion which is left in phospholipid, which is lipoprotein, and various clinical issues we will discuss. So